Trump was ordered by a judge to use the SNAP reserve funding to pay people their SNAP benefits. However, he didn't want to pay anybody anything, so he went to an appeal court to get it reversed. But then the appeal court said, no, you have to pay it, and now you have to pay it by Friday. So then he tried to appeal that as well and went to the Supreme Court, who put it on pause. Donald Trump cares so little about starving Americans that he is willingly trying not to pay SNAP, using the reserve funding that was already put away for them months ago, specifically for a situation like this, the government shutdown. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is Donald Trump doing? Well, he's getting off of his private jet to go golf. Now, amid all of this, states were already prepared to send out their SNAP funding, and they're waiting on Trump's order. However, some states already started the process of paying their SNAP receivers, and those states are Oregon, Kansas, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, and Wisconsin. There is literally no reason for Trump to not want to pay these SNAP recipients. However, in his pause with the Supreme Court, it's giving the appeal court more time to weigh the legal arguments, as Trump is arguing that he doesn't want to pay them in full, only partially. So while some people have been paid, not everybody has been paid. And if Trump were to have it his way, not everybody will be fully paid. So if you were fully paid, consider yourself blessed. And as Trump and all of his lapdogs continue to try to lie and gaslight America, nobody's buying it. Because right here we have Ted Cruz with fake outrage and signs, when just today they denied Democrats' proposal to open up the government and renew the ACA tax credits for low-income healthcare for 1 year until the midterm, so nobody's healthcare premium raises. They said no to that. Trump was ordered twice to pay SNAP, and he appealed it for a third time through the Supreme Court to put it on pause. And now we have this fake outrage video. But wait until you see the response to it. Let's see what Ted Cruz had to say.
It is a simple choice. Do you want to pay the air traffic controllers or not? But I got to tell you, you better be ready to talk to your constituents who said, why was my plane canceled when I was going to see my sick mother? Well, because I, Democrat, voted against paying air traffic controllers. That's the answer. You won't like giving that answer. But I'll tell you what, that's a lot better answer than if you have to look in the eyes of someone whose family was killed because the Democrats get what they are explicitly asking for, which is planes falling from the sky. The Schumer shutdown, if you are a left-wing partisan Democrat, you say every day gets better for us. I'll tell you who us ain't. It ain't the American people, so do the right thing because every one of you knows it's the right thing. Vote yes, pay the air traffic controllers, and end this ridiculous shutdown.
Did he just say that Democrats are killing people by making planes fall from the sky? I don't wish this level of delusion on anybody, but these fear tactics they think MAGA is going to eat up, it's just not working. How are you in power with every single option at your disposal to open the government, while you blame the person that wants to help Americans while you take from Americans? At this point, this is just a smear campaign in hopes they can gaslight Americans with propaganda that Democrats are the ones saying no to simple resolutions, when it's you, Ted Cruz. And the responses are absolutely amazing and show that nobody's buying this. Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican White House, Republican shutdown. And if they really wanted to end the shutdown against all odds, they could always do the nuclear option and end the filibuster if it was that important to them. But that's not even necessary. As a matter of fact, I've said in the past couple videos, they're actually using this shutdown to their advantage. They don't want to end the filibuster because then they have nobody to blame all of their failures on. When healthcare premiums go up, which they already have, they can't blame this imaginary enemy that made them do it. They will take full responsibility for every horrible bill they pass. And that is why they will not reopen the government. It also, for the time being, allows Mike Johnson to not swear in Adelita Grajova, who was the last vote we are waiting for to release the Epstein files. She was elected in the Congress on September 23rd, by the way. And people are voicing their opinions as well. This was Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm putting the blame on Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune. Another person responded with evidence. Republicans quickly reject Democrats' offer on ending government shutdown. It's over. No food for you until the Democrats let us take away your health care. Nobody believes it anymore. These people can lie and gaslight as much as they want because they have no real plan. They have no real structure. But as long as we're here to fact check them immediately the second they lie, not only will MAGA start breaking up as we've seen, because people are leaving in droves, but they can't recruit anybody new into the cult. Instead, they show the majority of America their lack of integrity and character, and it only falls flat on them. And I mean, what type of leader can't take responsibility for what happens inside of their country they're running? That's not somebody worthy of of respect. That's a child that never grew up and is unfit to lead anybody. Our real leader has discipline, but Mike Johnson sent Republican senators on vacation the second the government shut down. I mean, that speaks volumes alone. And speaking of fake righteousness, this is what Trump had to say about one of his senators. It's so interesting yesterday when our great senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy, introduced a bill in an attempt to withhold members of Congress from getting paid. And Rand Paul, who never votes for anything, tried to stop it because he wanted to be paid. In other words, Rand wanted to pay the people who stopped the government from working. What's going on with Rand? And John Kennedy said, if we can't fund the government, we don't deserve our paychecks. John Kennedy, you are worth $100 million. And that's in 2022. I am so tired of these fake people in positions of power lying to America about who they really are. Not only is it disingenuous, but it's disrespectful and it lacks integrity to lie every day to the American people you are supposed to serve. I want to remind you that this is the guy Ted Cruz accused of not wanting to open the government after rejecting a pretty sensible compromise, which there shouldn't even be a compromise when it comes to keeping American healthcare from tripling in cost. But let's see what this senator had to say about this.
Today, Democrats made an offer to the Republicans that they should not refuse. It said we can do both. We can extend the ACA tax credits for a year so that families will not lose their health insurance or have to pay a whole lot more for their health insurance, and reopen the government so that government workers can get paid and go back to work. We do both together. It makes eminent sense, and we are calling the Republicans bluff. You say you don't want to negotiate till after the government opens. Let's open the government, but at the same time, at the same moment, extend the ACA credits, and then we can negotiate. The ball is in the Republicans' court. They should take yes for an answer.
Such a simple solution. But on the topic of a government shutdown and who's responsible, let's hear from Donald Trump himself on who's responsible.
Fired. Who's going to bear the brunt of the responsibility if indeed there is a shutdown of our government?
Well, if you say who gets fired, it always has to be the top. I mean, problems start from the top, and they have to get solved from the top, and the president's the leader. And he's got to get everybody in a room, and he's got to lead. And he doesn't do that. He doesn't like doing that. That's not his strength.
In my opinion, I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed. If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States.
One of the rare moments Donald Trump was ever right about anything. Trump seems to think we don't see through his strategy of pitting American against American. And the only people that fall for that trap is MAGA, because they're stuck in a gaslight chamber. And it's like they're in one of those weird abusive relationships to where if you try to save them from the abuse they're taking every single day, they get mad and turn on you and go back to their abuser. That is the relationship MAGA has to Trump. I mean, Trump went to the Supreme Court to not pay their starving kids because 65% of SNAP recipients have kids. Furthermore, I wasn't 100% familiar with Ted Cruz, but after watching that last video and this one right here, he's just not worth the time of day. He seems like a very toxic and hateful individual that lies. The worst kind of person. Here's that video.
We're shut down. Enough is enough. We're seeing planes, flights canceled all over the country, delays. The FAA is requiring 10% of all flights to be canceled because air traffic controllers have been coming.
I mean, he put background music behind the video. He has this fake self-righteousness that he's doing this great thing. It actually pisses me off. Preying on weak people in critical moments of their times of need is the worst kind of person. And I can't stand people like that. They are takers and they will rob you of your last $2. And wasn't this the same guy that said we need to stop attacking PDFs? Let's play that clip.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rapes? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Excuse me? And a little bit of digging taught me I was absolutely right about him being a traitor, because this is what he had to say about Trump back in 2016. Let's take a look at this clip.
I'm going to do something I haven't done for the entire campaign. For those of y'all who have traveled with me all across the country, I'm going to tell you what I really think of Donald Trump. This man is a pathological liar. He doesn't know the difference between truth and lies. He lies practically every word that comes out of his mouth. And in a pattern that I think is straight out of a psychology textbook, his response is to accuse everybody else of lying. He accuses everybody on that debate stage of lying. And it's simply a mindless yell. Whatever he does, he accuses everyone else of doing. The man cannot tell the truth, but he combines it with being a narcissist. A narcissist at a level I don't think this country's ever seen. Donald Trump is such a narcissist that Barack Obama looks at him and goes, dude, what's your problem? Everything in Donald's world is about Donald. And he combines being a pathological liar. And I say pathological because I actually think Donald, if you hooked him up to a lie detector test, he could say one thing in the morning, one thing at noon, and one thing in the evening, all contradictory, and he'd pass the lie detector test each time. Whatever lie he's telling at that minute, he believes it. But the man is utterly amoral. Let me finish this, please. The man is utterly amoral. Morality does not exist for him. It's why he went after Heidi directly and smeared my wife, attacked her. Bullies don't come from strength. Bullies come from weakness. Bullies come from a deep, yawning cavern of insecurity. There is a reason Donald builds giant buildings and puts his name on them everywhere he goes. And I will say, there are millions of people in this country who are angry. They're angry at Washington. They're angry at politicians who've lied to them. I understand that anger. I share that anger. And Donald is cynically exploiting that anger. And he is lying to his supporters.
I couldn't have said it any better myself, Ted Cruz. You traitor to America. But all of that's okay. The more they lie, the more they reveal themselves, and the more America wakes up. They're inadvertently strengthening communities, and they know it's over for the midterms, so they're going all out. And with that being said, release the Epstein files, Donald Trump, and do the job you signed up for. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you have a great day today, and I'll see you next time.